Just purchased a power block stand. You'll see which one. My son and I are going to put it together, and we'll kind of walk you through the instructions. With the base, it'll say which part's the back, and then you obviously the other part's the front. So you take the column, that part, put it into the base. Then you take 6 screws and lug nuts and screw it together. It says do not over tighten. The nut, the lock bolt, we're basically going to screw it in like this so that it's like the flat part's kind of on the inside like that. Okay. So then we just taking this, putting the bolt on the inside, on the outside, and the lock nut on the inside, then you just hand tighten. Now we got all the screws attached, the lock nut on the inside. It's kind of hard to see. My son just came down with our socket wrenches because we're going to tighten everything up using the socket wrench. And just as we noted before, this back plate goes on the inside of the column, if you will. And the lock nuts go on the inside.
It's the
So I've got my screwdriver here, and I'm going to tighten everything up. Sorry for the out of focus. In some instances, it's good to have a socket wrench on the back end to tighten them up. Some of the screws didn't need it. The ones at the base, at least in my case, seem to need to have the socket wrench. Oh, and that's just my son making a little noise in the background. Take the top of the stand and you put it on the base. You'll have to kind of slide it up a little to line up the holes where you put the lock nut and the screw. But I'm gonna screw those in next. Just putting in the lock nut and the screw, and I have large hands, so I was trying to screw the lock nut while holding the screw on the other end. But what was happening is I would get one in, and then while I was trying to do the next one, it would drop, and then I'd have to take this one off to get into the base to grab the lock nut. So then what I ended up doing was, instead of screwing the lock nut, I just held the lock nut in place and then screwed in using a screwdriver the actual screw. So then it made it more stable and easy to tighten. If you hold this and screw in, it gets really tight. So you probably wouldn't need a socket wrench for any of the installation of this. It gets pretty tight if you just hold it and screw it. These adhesive strips, and put them on the top here. Kind of wipe things down so they'll stick good. Okay, yeah, basically it's pretty straightforward. You line them up, take the thing off the back and stick them down. Technique for this one, which I think worked out pretty well, is I unpeeled the back, and then I kind of, when it's unpeeled, I kind of set it up straight like this, made sure it was where I wanted it, and then slowly laid it down. That seemed to work out nicely. Against what the instructions said, but now I just completely peeled it off because I was having trouble. I'm going to try to slide it down and then kind of shimmy it down and then press it down. Okay, on the inside, not great. The whole thing put together. Put the sticker on. Wasn't too difficult. The stand finished. The new power blocks on the stand. I just need to put these little rings in for the little 2.5 pounders. think that's pretty straightforward. That's it. I'm pretty happy with the stand. Let's see if it wiggles. It's on concrete, so, but yeah, it's pretty sturdy. It's pretty great. I love having these, or I have a place to put the 2.5 pounders when I take them out instead of just on the ground. Okay, if you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, and comment below.